Majo John Madden. Juanito, they call me in Mexico. That's my skull. In Mexico, they call that your cabeza, your head. I took a writing class from a woman here in Asheville, Nina, I'll find your last name, Nina. The title of the class was Writing from the Top of Your Head. So this is a video from the top of my head, because that's the angle at which you can see out my picture window. When you come down lower, the glare starts. Oh, now it's okay. Yeah, now there's that glare. Writing from the top of your head. So I'm going to talk from off the top of my head, because that's what the topic is. It was inspired by my friend Tom Kilby, who the 2 or 3 things Tom and I have in common are that we have pushed the limits of how far we can take ourselves in this limited frame and limited brain in the course of our lives. He's also 70-something, younger than me. That we have dropped the script to the extent that we know how. We are playing it without a script, pushing our own individuality, our own creativity, our own spontaneity, improvisational. We lead improvisational lives. And he practices something called Interplay, which is improvisational storytelling, movement, and song. And I danced that dance with Tom for several years when I was in Asheville. And so we each accept the fact that we're odd. I was going to start this video before I got lost in my own cabeza there in the beautiful view that I only discovered yesterday by raising the blinds. I was going to start the video by saying it is in the nature of being human to be odd. We are meant to be unique, individual. We have our unique fingerprints, and our life is meant to have a unique fingerprint, a unique stamp, a unique style. Most people are embarrassed by that and spend their lives trying to fit in. I grew up in the 50s and 60s when that was the religion, was to fit in, to be, there was a word for it, just go along to get along. Don't stick your head up too high or you'll get shot. And that it's not as bad as the 50s and 60s. We went through the personal growth movement. We've gone through all different cycles. And there's wildly more freedom in the world, pre-Trump. Oh, excuse me while I weep heavily. In the U.S., there was wildly more freedom pre-Trump to be a person, and that's getting locked down everywhere you look. In Mexico, it hasn't changed, and in Mexico, it's dramatically more so because people do not judge each other. The working class, the middle class, which are smaller than the U.S., is much larger working class, poor in Mexico. The middle class in Mexico are as heinous as the worst of the upper middle class in the U.S. Judge, compete, compare, keep up with the Joneses, look good. In Mexico, people don't judge each other, the working class. Normal Mexicans will not judge each other. There's a concept of personal sovereignty, your right to be you and to do it your way. My friend Alia, when I tried to ask her about her sister-in-law, like, what's up with her? I was just trying to understand. I didn't really even want to judge. Alia pretended not to have heard the words. The concept was incomprehensible to her, that she would comment on, no, sister-in-law, family, but it would have been anybody. No, we don't judge. And a week later, I asked a truck driver who had stopped, and we got to talking. I said, what's with you Mexicans? You won't judge each other. Why won't you do that? The middle class U.S., that's water cooler talk. That's what we do. We gossip. We talk about each other. We judge each other. One American friend said recently, I'm American. I give advice. She's just assumed that it comes with the genes. Truck driver says to me, life is hard, man. I got my hands full leading my life. Am I going to suck my own? He didn't use wooey language like suck the juices out of myself. But basically he said, why would I go around worrying about how somebody else, they're busy leading their lives. I'm busy leading my life. No, I won't go there. They don't. The middle class do. Oh, yeah. At least as much as in the U.S. Oh, there are about 8 other threads I was going to develop here. Maybe this is good right here. Leading a life that you make up as you go along. Indiana Jones, Harrison Ford's one of my favorites. Catch him in Shrinking on Apple. He plays an aging psychologist so well, so interesting, pushing his own limits in his 70s. But Indiana Jones, they say to him, you're going to go try to stop an armored convoy, you on horseback with a rifle. How are you going to do that? And God bless his heart, he said, and this has always stuck with me since that early movie, I don't know, I'm just making this up as I go along. That is, to me, the way to live. Make it up as you go along. Surprise yourself. Surprise yourself. I traveled in a camper van for 5 years and would say to my dog, where shall we wake up tomorrow? I loved that life. I love that life. Now I'm living imprisoned in a body that has been rocked and socked, renal failure, cancer, 2 or 3 different kinds of cancer. I don't walk very well. And I'm attached, maybe not starting tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow I will get my catheter out, but I pee into a bag for 3 months. So Matt, who is manager here, is a seeker and a deeply thoughtful guy. And he gave me an Alan Watts tape, sent a link to an Alan Watts, his popularizer of Zen. And what Alan Watts says in that tape is, say you went through 75 lifetimes where you got to have things just the way you wanted them, all the pleasure you wanted, everything really was great. Then you got bored and you said, send me a lifetime that's got surprises, that's kind of out of control. Well, some of us, whether we like it or not, on some level we're choosing. Some part of me chose to have a body suddenly where a life where my body doesn't work for the last 3 months, and where I'm yoked to a catheter and a resident in a nursing home rehab. And that video, thank you, Matt, because that video has been so helpful. I went, oh, that's what I did. I said, God, give me a big curveball. Give me something I really wasn't expecting, and give me a chance to see just, and then say to me, do something with this, man. Do something interesting with this. And that's the challenge I've had with lots of support, because Matt's rehab center here, nursing home, is really a very fine place where I've had a lot of support from a lot of staff, including Matt. Yeah, that's enough. This is 9 minutes. I didn't say 90% of the stuff I intended to say. It'll go into other videos. Tune in. So I could go out with some very interesting improvisational ending, which I won't because I don't have it. And to reach for it would violate the policy. It comes when it comes. Maharishi, my first meditation teacher, who never felt like a master to me, but I spent a whole weekend in what they called an intensive, I guess, listening to videos of the Maharishi say, take it easy. Take it as it comes. And we did nothing. We did nothing all weekend but listen to lectures and take it easy. And I was a runner back then, and one day I would run a short half mile fast as I could. The next day I'd run a long ways, maybe 2 miles. Short one was, I guess, 2 miles. And the next day I ran it so much faster than I had ever run it before, after a weekend of doing nothing but listening to this crazy little guru saying, take it easy. Take it easy. Yeah. So I said I would shut up. Shut up, John.